Hey, Kentucky, this is Mary Jo Perino. Tonight, we'll talk about the latest on the coronavirus in the Bluegrass, plus the SEC honors UK basketball as it gets ready for the conference tournament. And I'll talk with bracketologist Mike DeCourcy. All that and more is next on Hey, Kentucky. Welcome into Hey, Kentucky. Notorious germaphobe Ryan Lemond is here tonight. You have to be like on edge. Here, let's touch feet.
There we go. Social distancing. Yeah. The new word we all need to be prepared for.
Yes. Listen, this coronavirus situation in Kentucky continues to change. As of this morning, there were still only 6 confirmed cases across the state, but at least 200 people were still being monitored. Governor Beshear issued an executive order that allows pharmacists to issue prescriptions for a 30-day supply of non-controlled medication. The governor says this will prove helpful for those in self-isolation or those in long-term care facilities. He also issued strict guidance for those facilities. Essentially, only those who need to be inside those buildings will be allowed to enter, although end-of-life situations will be handled on a case-by-case basis. That's for facilities run by the state. For privately owned facilities, the governor passed along a strong recommendation in an effort to keep our most vulnerable safe.
I understand there are going to be Kentuckians that aren't going to be able to potentially see mom or dad and want to go there and want to check to make sure they're getting the best care. I understand that. But we are working to protect the lives of those same loved ones. And so what I'd encourage people is work with us.
Today, Berea College announced that they will be stopping classes, canceling the rest of the semester, saying they couldn't guarantee the safety of students and employees if the coronavirus showed up there. As of right now, if you're not showing symptoms, which include a fever, cough, shortness of breath, the Kentucky Health Commissioner says there is no need to be tested. Ryan, this is probably the first domino.
Yeah.
There are going to be schools, and we're going to see basically the state shut down, I think.
It's coming. You know, Harrison County's already shut down their school. I think we'll see a lot more school systems shut down just to sanitize everything. You know, we see in retirement homes. This is just the beginning of what's about to happen for all of us for the next couple of weeks. Just be prepared.
Be prepared for it. Meanwhile, the show is expected to go on at the SEC tournament, even as the virus has cropped up in Nashville now. As of this taping, conference officials have said the tournament will open action tomorrow with special health precautions in place to make it as safe as possible. The safety measures at Bridgestone Arena include placing additional hand sanitizers at entrances and in meeting rooms, and the sanitizing of locker rooms, game balls, team benches. Similar preventative measures will be taken at the SEC Gymnastics Championship in Georgia later this month. Ryan, the Ivy League has canceled its postseason tournament already, so they've just given the regular season champs automatic bids to the NCAA tournament. That might not be the only league that does that.
No, again, we're seeing just the beginnings of a lot of this that's going to happen. And I know probably they've had talks in Nashville for the SEC tournament, decided to go ahead with it as normal. I think the crowds will probably still be the same, but we're going to see a lot of fist bumping. I think we'll see a lot of social distancing, people acting different because this has happened.
The governor of Ohio has actually said no, they don't want spectators at any indoor athletic events.
Well, guess what's happening in Ohio?
Yeah, the first round of the NCAA tournament's in Cleveland. The first 4 is in Dayton.
So what if Kentucky ends up in Cleveland in the first round? No fans?
That's crazy.
That's what the governor of Ohio is saying.
I know. Wow. Listen, after taking home SEC regular season title, UK basketball dominated the league's end of the year awards. How about this? They picked quick. Sophomore guard Immanuel Quickley is the SEC Player of the Year. John Calipari is the SEC Coach of the Year. Junior Nick Richards and Immanuel Quickley obviously were also given first-team All-SEC honors. Tyrese Maxey made the All-SEC second team and was also tabbed to the SEC All-Freshman team. Ashton Higgins, who was the Defensive Player of the Year last season, made the All-Defensive team for a second season in a row. Nick Richards joins him on that squad. Kentucky won more league awards than any other school. Duh. The team had a 26-5 regular season record. That included a 15-3 record in the SEC, 8-2 on the road, a top 10 national ranking. I'm glad it was Immanuel Quickley. I know we talked so much about Nick Richards, but I do think he is the league's best player.
Immanuel Quickley averaged 5 points a game last year.
Yeah.
Wasn't even a starter when this season began. Third guard in our 3-guard rotation, kind of the forgotten guard of the 3 guards. Now he is SEC Player of the Year. Deserved it, though. He's the guy that put us on his back and carried us through most of the SEC season.
And everyone will kind of tell you he worked his butt
Oh,
off.
he's a gym rat. Yeah, he's a gym rat. Here we thought, Nick Richards kind of was our SEC Player of the Year, but when we needed the buckets at the end of the game, the free throw or a big bucket, it was Emmanuel Quickly. It really was.
And his consistency was off
Yeah.
the charts. All right, let's stay with basketball. The big question going into that tournament for Big Blue Nation is, will Ashton Hagans play, and how good will he play? Coach Cal was asked about that on his radio show last night. He was optimistic about Hagans' return, even though he said he hasn't talked to the point guard.
Sometimes adversity hits and it's good. And I even say this, coaching in my mind is crisis management. And if you really want to bring about change sometimes, it sometimes takes a crisis, sometimes big, sometimes a little smaller, but the crisis of, okay, we gotta reboot this. These kids are, and I've said it before, in the last 4 years, it has gotten outrageous what these kids got to deal with. They got to deal with things as though they're 28 years old, and they're 18 and 19. They have the weight of the world on them. And forget about trying to win a basketball game. How about trying to take care of a family? You're talking about being at Kentucky, which means everything is highlighted. You're talking about every miss or make becomes something crazy.
Man, he sounds awful. Cal also addressed the longevity of Hagans' recent struggles, recognizing that this problem, whatever it is, didn't start and stop during the Tennessee game. Hagans hasn't quite been himself throughout the past few weeks. Ryan, does it bother you that Cal hasn't talked to him?
I don't believe that.
Okay.
I think that's just Cal speak.
Okay.
So he said the same thing about P.J. Washington last year about his ankle. Hasn't talked to him. I don't believe that. Now, I think I think the team will be fine at the SEC tournament. I really don't know how Hagans is going to play. Is Hagans going to be the Hagans we saw early in the year, or the Hagans we saw in February where he struggled a lot?
Yeah.
It's going to see what kind of a man he is, how he shows up and plays on Friday in the SEC tournament.
And it's going to determine a lot about his future prospects these next couple weeks.
Amen.
Really? Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, as the tournament begins this week, so does our coverage here on Hey Kentucky. Starting tomorrow night, you'll see reports from Nashville as we build up to UK's first game on Friday afternoon. Join me and Perrin Johnson as we check out what is going on in Music City. Up next on Hey Kentucky, we're closer to Selection Sunday. The big question on everyone's mind is, where will the Cats be going for the NCAA tournament? So we talked with expert Mike DeCourcy to break it all down for us when we return.